She thinks you guys are sick of me. Take a breath.
Good morning.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh,
So,
isn't it fun to pretend like we're humans?
so it's clear that you and Chris work well together, and you're both easy guys to get along with, so it's not surprising. But I was curious how the dynamic works in terms of when he signs a player, when the team signs a player, even if it's something as simple as a practice squad move. Does he run everything by you? I'm sure he gives you a heads up, but does he ask your opinion on everything, both offensive and defensive signings? How does that work?
Well, I think we both look at it like this. We have points of emphasis that or expertise that the team relies on us for, but we also know how interwoven we are for the anything that happens within the organization, player decision, all of that. But the biggest and most important thing is that we respect, regard, trust, and rely on each other. So I wouldn't say it's like anything we do. There's like a steadfast procedure in like, hey, no, you do. It's assumed that everything we do, if that we are on the same page, and if we're not, it's we got this brilliant formula of just talking, So if I'm not sure if I can't speak on any of the relationships that people have outside of the relationship they have with me, but from the beginning, when he was interviewing me, this is something that when someone is interviewing you and is part of the decision to hire you, I don't take that lightly, and we do everything as a team in that regard, and the assumption is that we're on the same page with everything. And that's the great thing, is the second there's anything like, hey, maybe he might not know this, or just to keep you up to date or whatever, I think we both view that as our responsibility to the organization, knowing that a healthy organization, the people that are put in positions of authority have to be on the same page. It's like if you're running a run play, the quarterback and running back better know that it's going to the right, or it doesn't matter what the right guard's block is. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of how we approach it, and it's a cool, deliberate, and well-intentioned process. And you always hope that you have a situation like that. You never know if you're going to be afforded that. But I feel so fortunate and lucky because it is very easy, relatively, to a lot of people's experiences. Very easy to do my job, and hopefully I make his job easier as well.
One quick follow on that. Do you remember back in February, did he ask you for either in a conversation or a list of guys that you would recommend that he consider? Or did it come up organically? Like, as an example, did Chris just say to you, what about Mostert? What about Sherfield? Guys you're familiar with? Or did you actually give him a list of guys that you wanted him to consider?
No, so I'm glad you asked that, because sometimes you lose sight of like what people are aware of and what people aren't. But Chris views a team the same way I do. He's he knows that he's only as good as his department, as his relationship with me, as our team. We only go as far as we take each other. So with regard to every potential free agent in the offseason, he leads a process that I firmly co-sign, and I see it the exact same way, where he has the scouts present the available players, and you don't skirt anyone. You go through the process because, we're only as good as our scouting department is. And empowering those people, giving them a voice because we want to hear it, and we don't go in a locked room and make these decisions out of wherever. But we sit in a room, we go over and allow everyone that we rely on to be part of the team to present their work, their opinions. You settle on it, and then once we go through that process in the room, we'll get back together and kind of go in a direction that makes sense. The best thing about our relationship is I don't think I've ever heard him, nor have I said, well, I decided this. The subconscious leaks out and we do not see this is his show, this is my show. We know that we succeed or fail together, and we know that we are a piece, a percentage piece of, when things are going right with the Miami Dolphins, that we contribute, but it's about the sum of all the parts. And I think that's something that just, maybe that's why he hired me, because I see it the same way as he does, and I wouldn't know any other way to do it.
Mike, going back to I assume when you interviewed here, that was your first meeting with Chris, right?
Yeah, it was a Zoom meeting. I'm not sure. It was NFL Thursday before the divisional game in the playoffs last year.
I'm sorry. So, how did it go in terms of, one, did you come away thinking, I've got a pretty good shot at this job, and two, what told you about Chris's words that made you feel like, hey, I could really work with this guy?
Oh, it's Chris is a natural GM. Part of being a GM is I don't know. I don't even think he gambles, but if he did, he'd play poker. I knew that the first Zoom meeting went well when they scheduled a second meeting. You're hopeful, but this is my first rep. What am I? And I'm on a digital screen. If you guys think I'm moderately presentable in live person, Zoom is not exciting. I'm terrible at it. But we got another opportunity. I was encouraged when, I'm much the same person all the time in all atmospheres. I'm exactly how I am now to you guys, to the team, and in that interview process. So while I'm going on long-winded answers, as I generally do, I would slip in a little, does it have to be funny to be a joke? An attempt at a joke, whatever, and he would laugh. So I was like, all right, that's cool. You don't know if it's a token laugh or whatever. But I felt good. But he wasn't. It's his job to take in information, and not rush to judgment really in everything. He's got to be prudent. That's why, one of the things that really the Miami Dolphins benefit from in our relationship as we do business is he's thinking about stuff and he's not emotionally rushing to judgment. So I didn't really totally know. It went a good amount of time, which I figured was a good thing. And then I started I think it was 7 hours, or I don't know, it was a while. And then I was at a point where man, this is going kind of good. I'm scheduled to go on a flight tomorrow morning. Man, I got to make sure they don't put me on that plane. And so I did every trick in the book to try to, make a joke. Hey man, I'll just hang around. And I was feeling like I had a shot at that. And they classic Chris and the crew, they sent me back home on a flight to go finish the process. So at that point, I felt great about. I was really, really, really hoping I'd get the job, not because of the obvious reasons, but specifically because I did see such a vision of like, man, this is a perfect fit. And I really wanted it, but I was at peace with the process because, all of us involved, I feel like we're very transparent and authentic. It was very comfortable. It seemed natural, but you just never know. So that Sunday, I think it was Sunday, it was February 7th, was brutal. Longest day ever, to the point that I fell asleep waiting. We were watching the Pro Bowl, and then at 2:46 I got the call, and it was a game changer. Pacific time. Yeah.
Mike, I know we get an injury report later today, but two guys Monday who appeared to be working on the side, Trent Sherfield and Xavier. Are you optimistic about them playing Sunday?
Oh, what Barry's like. All this guy wants to talk about is injuries. I know. We just got to be paid. People focus on. No, honestly, that just for the record, let's go on record on this one. This was the very first press conference that I don't know how you guys do your deal, but he's always the guy, the lead leg of the relay race, and this is the first time. So. I didn't know you were in cahoots. No, I feel very, very good about their deliberate intent. Feel confident that that we're gonna see some. I feel confident that that there's a great chance that they'll be able to help us this Sunday. But crystal balls break, so who knows?
In Major League Baseball, there's always talk about how relevant or significant the win-loss record for a starting pitcher is because of external factors like run support.
Yeah, compounding variables, as they call them.
So I'm interested in maybe writing about the relevance of win-loss record as it relates to the quarterback. Obviously, to a 13-2.
Yeah, no, I don't know which one is more relevant or less. But it is very similar because pitchers hold the ball for half the inning, right? Every time that your team's not holding a bat, you are in charge of you determine what's the next move with everyone. In like circumstances, quarterbacks, I don't think people quite give how difficult of a job a starting quarterback in the National Football League is, or just quarterback in general. And why I say that is because you are touching the ball every play, even when you're not throwing it. The cohesion of your offense runs through you because your footwork in the run game has to be right. Your cadence has to be right. It is. And then on top of that, like a starting pitcher, compounding variables dictate narratives. And people are human, and that can wear on someone when you're giving your best effort and a narrative comes up, and maybe sometimes you deserve it, or maybe sometimes 3 people it made. And because of that, you threw whatever it is. And if you're a good quarterback, it's even tougher because then you have to be a leader as well. And you have to live in a world where people are blaming you and you accept the blame to lead and protect your teammates. So I think you can lose games for your team at quarterback. You can help win them. There won't ever be a win that you can do it in spite of a quarterback, generally, because you hold the ball every play, and if you're turning it over, we know the ratios of that. But you're quarterbacks don't win or lose games. Starting pitchers don't win or lose games. But when you're playing at a high level, your team, you can have as big of impact as any person that relates to the Miami Dolphins, player, coach, anybody. You're by nature, you have as strong of impact as any possible person. You have the biggest percentage piece of the pie because you have so much responsibility. Like the pressures of third down in a division game and a playoff game and a championship game in the Super Bowl, the pressures of facing the 3 or 4 hole hitter in the 8th or 9th inning. I mean, these seasons are long. That incredible investment about the half of the year where you are putting your family and everything else in your life on the side, and it all culminates, and it's not made for everybody. But the percentages might be 5 or 6% that any team's ever done anything worthwhile without those specific people being, very, very good.
What are you willing to reveal about your plan for Austin Jackson on Sunday?
Oh, text. Barry, I'm going on the record. Barry just texted you. I don't feel like revealing anything. I feel like today helping the competitive advantage for the team I coach. Tomorrow, maybe. No, I respect it. It doesn't make any sense for me to, but I get it. I think just know, super confident, very, very happy that we have taken our time. He's in a place where he can make plays as an offensive lineman. We are afforded options with his versatility, but there's as long as there's no setbacks, I think you're going to see some of his best play here soon, and he's done it the right way. He's earned it. He's in a good spot, and I'm excited for him.
What are you most thankful for this year?
You stole my question.
Stealing is you're not being a good teammate. Most thankful for, yikes. You're catching me at I'm always pretty thankful for things. But right now I'm seeping with it. I do have an issue about being long-winded. I'm going to try to be as tight as possible. And also, I don't want to get too emotional up here today. But right when you say it, what are you most thankful for immediately? My wife and daughter have, especially she's 2 now, so didn't really know that aspect of concrete support, family, and fulfillment. So, and people can't do anything by themselves, anything at all. And wow, am I able to fully invest in people in the organization and do my job, which is incredibly important to me. And I'd have no chance. And then without my wife, and this parent thing is legit. And I'm sure there's some just wait, and I know. But right now she's 2 and thinks I'm awesome, and wants to hang out with me. And then so thankful for everything that, good or bad, and everything in between that happened in my life to give me the opportunity to be here. And then, again, I'd probably go 45 minutes if I don't. All aspects that I'm very, very aware of, that I can't do my job for the team, for the players, for the people in the building, for the fan base, for the organization, if you don't have the right type of people deciding to go along the ride with you. And I think it's idiotic for people in positions such as myself to be delusional enough to think that that they're bigger than they are. You are. It has stuff to do with you, but you are only as good as everyone that is involved in the process. And it's been as fulfilling of a half a season, as fulfilling as an off season. I'm so fulfilled and thankful. And then on top of that, all of this happens, and I'm in a fan base that is hungry, but as appreciative as you could possibly have. You know, I didn't have any idea about the Dolphins fan base really, having been in 6 NFL divisions, but you know, this being one of the 2 that I hadn't been in. And then the, you know, time, emotion, investment, there's scars, there's residuals for that. And all I've seen are people that want to get excited. And I've seen, well, okay, because, you know, you get vulnerable when you get excited, but to be able to do this job for this team, for all these people, and then on top of that, have an informed, intelligent, passionate community, fan base that really appreciates where you're at, but more than that, like, you can see people. You're able to. The outcome of games can affect people's lives. It does, and it's cool that we have a home field environment that is outstanding. It's just really, really cool to see people want and be able to be excited about something that they love. You know, I'm a softie for that. You guys remember, that's where my roots start, and I'll never really stray from that empathetic situation. So, didn't I say I was going to be short? And I feel like that was 10 minutes. But yeah, a lot to be thankful. I'm thankful for that question.
Sorry, Ruthie.
I'm really thankful for your thoughtful question, and you're the one person that thought, you know, to care about me and like what's going on with me, you know? It's a tough question to follow.
How about Thanksgiving dish power rankings?
Well, man, mashed potatoes and gravy, solid. You know, I'm more ham than turkey, but the best Thanksgiving meal I've ever had, I think it was a fried turkey, whatever it was, you know what I mean? And yeah, you get it. And it was like, what is this turkey that's not dry? So those two, not a huge eater to be honest. So I do enjoy the process, and corn on the cob, solid. Yeah, that's a vegetable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, see, I eat my vegetables as long as they're not green or too healthy for me. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
All right.